Ladies and gentlemen, I am here. The Stout Man is here to deliver you episode 10 of And New Smile, Shine, and Spar with smiling Sam Alvey. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on.
Okay, so Sam, this is going to be a two-part show. I'm going to be able to get the chance to sit down and talk to you about many things today in regards to your UFC career, to perhaps what it's like being in the tough house, and maybe even this week's crazy topic, which is Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. But first, I'd like to start off this interview for the casuals and perhaps those that don't know you. Who is Sam Alvey?
Violent Sam Alvey. I've been fighting for about 20 years. I've got 6 kids, and we're not done. We're taking no precautions. A beautiful wife, and I've been to 50 something different countries with fights. I have fought everywhere, and I've been blessed because of each and every one.
That's absolutely amazing, Sam. And secondly, again, I want to say it is an honor and a privilege to have such a lovely veteran, a crafty veteran, and a beloved veteran of the UFC onto my show. So I thank you for your time. So,
Oh, you're very welcome.
so the second question I have for you now is, how does life look for you now when you're fighting in karate combat in comparison to the UFC?
Uh, the you know what? Everything is fairly similar. The biggest difference is when I was with the UFC, I lived in California. I currently live in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, and I am much happier in Tennessee than I was in California. I know you're not from over here, but California is terrible. None of you should ever go there.
Yeah, I'm currently living in Ireland right now. I've been living here for 15 years. But hey, I'm actually planning on a US visit when I'm 25, currently 22 at the minute. So, but hey, I've heard Cali does sound nice at the summertime.
Oh, it's summer. Summer's the worst time. It's too hot. I'm a ginger. I get burned at night.
So my third question for you, when you wake up these days, what would you say is your prime motivation?
A bigger paycheck. It's always been the case. I'm a lot of fighters call themselves martial artists or athletes. No, 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 no. We are prize fighters. We fight for a prize. If there was no prize, we would not fight. Uh, so I am very much a prize fighter, and the more I train, the harder I train, the more I enjoy doing it, the more I win.
That's fair. Now, for this fifth question, we're going to go down memory lane here. So this was for your debut fight in August at UFC 47 Fight Night against Tom Watson. If you can remember, could you tell me that feeling, knowing that you are now in the elite organization of MMA fighting? Could you tell me what it was like for your
Oh,
first walkout song?
yeah, it felt great. It was just another opportunity. Honestly, I was more enthralled with where I was fighting than who I was fighting or who I was fighting for. I get to go to Maine. I had a blast. It was such a beautiful little city. The weather was cool but not hot, and I enjoyed the community. And then I got to fight at the end of a little vacation, anyways, and it was a good time.
So you didn't have those first time nerves like stepping into the UFC. It practically felt like another day at the office.
Yeah, I've never been a nervous fighter. Not my first amateur fight, first pro fight, not ever. I enjoy what I do too much. I never quite understood why people get nervous, although I do realize I might be the only one that doesn't. I have fun doing what I do.
Yeah, because a lot of people this actually is going to come up in a question there now. Would you say that for fighters for the first time, like what would be your main advice? What would be your main advice when fighting those that first time adrenaline fighting in the likes of the UFC or hell, even starting off in MMA?
Yeah, those first amateurs, they're all nervous. Like I said, I might be the only one that wasn't nervous. Everyone gets nervous. And it all comes down to you have to know you've trained for it. Now, when I first started fighting, I had not trained for it. I just stepped in and I did okay. But everyone else, they train so hard, they put so much pressure on themselves. I try to remind all of these young amateurs. I said, listen, in the history of the world, statistically, you could beat every one of them. Every person that has ever lived, statistically, you could beat them if you train for 6 months. And most amateurs have trained for at least 6 months.
Mhm. Now, we're going to move on to the next segment, which I have planned here. We're talking about promotion switches. So, there's unfortunately, in the most recent few months, there has been a few cuts that not a lot of people have agreed with. Most notably, Martin Budet and Yair Rosenstrike. Both heavyweight fighters have now found different paths for themselves. Rosenstrike being in Dirty Box Fighting Championship, and Martin Budet, who is now signed for Octagon in January to fight for Will Fleury against for the Octagon Heavyweight Championship. And I'd like to get your opinion. Is there, or sorry, I'd like to know, besides Karate Combat Fighting Championship, is there going to be ever a possibility that we could see Sam Alvey potentially in the boxing ring?
Hell yeah. Yeah, sign Jake Paul up. I'll take him out right now. No, listen, as I said, I'm a prize fighter first. I will fight it. If you pay me enough to slap a guy, I'll slap a guy. No, that that price would go way up because it's embarrassing. But there is a price tag.
Mhm.
If boxing wants me to fight Joshua Anthony, they want me to fight Tyson Fury, I'm in. If they want me to stay karate combat, I'm in. I will do whatever wherever that paycheck leads because I love what I do, and it doesn't matter what kind of combat I'm in. I'm in it.
So the next one is, of course, we're moving on to the the hot takes segment. So we have what a lot of people will say is a ludicrous fight this Friday. That is the former undisputed, two-time undisputed heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, an Olympic gold medalist. Anthony Joshua taking on internet sensation Jake Paul. As a crafty and a long-time veteran of the fight game, would you be able to tell me your opinion on this? Because a lot of people don't think that Jake is ready for someone like Anthony Joshua, despite losing to Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk, who are two of the finest boxers in the heavyweight division. But a lot of people do think that this is Jake Paul's real first test in boxing. So please, Sam, tell me what you think.
Yeah, this fight is ridiculous. Jake Paul is not a good boxer. He's not. He's an athletic kid, and when put in the ring against old retiring smaller than him wrestlers from the MMA, he'll
Mhm.
do really well. He's athletic. He's fighting a guy who is significantly larger than him, an actual good boxer, and Jake is out of his depth. Um, and I cannot believe this fight is happening. I was on this bandwagon of Jake's going to say yes, then he's going to get hurt. Well, the fight's here and he's not gotten hurt yet, so I think he's stepping in, and I think he's going to get his butt kicked.
And let's go. Let's play devil's advocate here. What happens if Jake Paul does the unthinkable and he knocks out Anthony Joshua?
Uh, Jake, I mean, Jake will make a lot more money in his next fight. I'm sure he's making a ton this time.
Mhm.
But if he knocks out Joshua Anthony, Anthony Joshua, Jake's price tag goes way up. I mean, he's now fighting for whatever he wants to fight for.
Mhm. Because apparently it's the WBO is apparently giving him a ranking. I think he's ranked number 14 at the minute, so you can imagine what's going to happen if he manages to beat Joshua. But yeah, I would have to agree with you that I say that I think it is pretty it's pretty ludicrous. This goes into my
Yeah,
next one.
I'm
Oh,
a little embarrassed that he's ranked. Who's he fought? He's fought two boxers. He lost to one, and he beat the other one. But the other one was his most recent fight. The other one was not a good fight. Like that. That wasn't him.
mhm,
So I'm surprised they're ranking him.
mhm. This goes kind of into my next point, but it moves on to this goes on to my next question with today's mixed martial arts. So today's mixed martial arts, would you say that today's mixed martial artists in the UFCs are a little tougher or perhaps more protected? Because I've seen a lot of comments in regards to certain fighters getting protection from, the likes of the UFC, where with their stars, they want to keep them away from the toughest challenge possible. Or do you think that potentially they're just a little bit more skilled than everyone thinks?
Uh, no, they're definitely protecting people. In particular, so the way I've always said it is the further you are away from America, the easier your fight schedule is going to be to an extent. There are a lot of Americans, and we are used as fodder for the Dagestanis. We are used as fodder for the Asians. We are used as fodder because there's so many of us. In America, the USA, we don't particularly root for someone because of USA, like every other country does.
Mhm.
We are the built-in home base for the UFC. Whoever fights, we're going to pick a side that we want to see win, not because of where they're from. But if you get a fighter from Ireland, Ireland is on the side. You get a fighter from Dagestan, Dagestan's on the side. From China, from Japan, from wherever, and that country is now on the side. So a lot of the foreign fighters are given, there's no easy fights, but easier matchups against U.S. Fighters because the U.S. fighters are interchangeable.
Mhm. So I'd like you to talk to me about today's modern UFC rankings because it seems that the UFC has now traded the tougher and the skilled and the talented fighters to fighters that can now make them a lot more money. Please tell me your feelings about that.
Hey, well, even more than we are athletes, we are entertainers.
Mhm.
If we're not entertaining, if the fight is not entertaining, it doesn't make as much money. It shouldn't make as much money.
Mhm.
So if the UFC wants to take some guy who's ranked number 14 and give him a title shot because it will sell more pay-per-views, I have no problem with that.
Mhm.
The cream will rise to the top. The champion will remain the champion. I think Pantoja this last weekend upset the UFC by losing because they really are trying to make him. They're trying to erase Mighty Mouse, and Pantoja was the guy to do it, and then Pantoja lost. And there are a
Yeah.
couple of guys. They see some real star power in some of their rising stars. I think who not Victoria, the 170 champ now,
Islam
Islam.
Makhachev. Islam.
Islam, yeah, he took a big hit in his stock because of how boring his fight was last time. And so I think they're either going to give him somebody that he should be able to just slaughter, or they're going to give him somebody that can beat him because that last showing was really bad.
Yeah, I can definitely see that point. Um, the next question in relation to this segment is, do you think fighters stay out of pure ego or just simply stay in competition for the love of the fight game because they feel like they haven't accomplished as much, or do you feel like it's because it might be a little bit of push and maybe a little bit ego?
No, so at the end of I don't think it's ego. I don't think it's that they have. I don't think fighters particularly care what they've accomplished. We fight for the paycheck. At the end of our career, our our skill is getting punched in the head better than most people. That's what we're good at. It's not a very marketable skill outside of fighting. So a lot of fighters fight for as long as they can, as long as they're not getting injured. Um,
Mhm.
and a lot of fighters fight for too long after that they should have retired
Mhm.
because of that. It's their only skill, and they haven't figured out where to move on to yet.
That's fair. Well, a lot of people would say that there's a very good example who fought in bare knuckle recently, and I believe he's in his 50s now. I don't exactly know the man. I can't. It doesn't come to mind, but Ulugzinki. Ulugzinki. I believe that might be his name. He's a Russian, and a lot of people say that he's fighting out of pure love for the game, or perhaps maybe that it's that he needs the money, like you said. It's the paycheck, like you said. But don't you think that do you think that kind of hurts people, the fighters' longevity? Do you think it? Like, what exactly is it that you think?
No, it absolutely hurts them. If they're not winning, they should retire. When I left the UFC, I was prepared to retire if I couldn't still compete, if I started getting hurt. And I did the exact opposite. I'm one of the few that leave the UFC and have a successful post UFC career. Um, and but I had the talk with my family. I said, listen, if I have lost more than I know I have lost, I'm going to step away. This will be the end of it. But I still felt I had that drive. I still felt I was better than almost everyone in the world, and I went out and I proved I was. Now I had a little setback here 2 weeks ago, and it's time to reassess. I'm going to drop back. He chased me out of heavyweight, so I'm going right back down to light heavyweight, and that's where I'm going to stay for the rest of my career.
Oh, so you're not moving back up to heavyweight. You're staying at 205 now.
Yeah, that son of a gun was 6'7", 285 pounds. That was I know size matters, but I was sure I was going to be able to overcome it. And nope, could not.
I love it, Sam. Honestly, I really do love it. This moves on to my next question. It goes back to protected or skilled. Who do you think? This may be a silly question, but obviously, I'd love to get your thoughts. Who do you think is more pushed, skilled or marketable?
Marketable, marketable, handedly. Now, often enough, you are marketable because you are skilled. Conor McGregor is the perfect example. Conor McGregor is the most marketable person that the UFC has ever seen. I mean, he just had it. But had he not won, his marketability would have been garbage. Now, he hasn't won in a while, and he's still marketable. Marketability is the number one faction. You have to win to stay in there. But if you want those big fights, if you want to be a name brand, if you want to be able to box Mayweather for $1 billion, you need to be marketable.
This moves on to the next segment, which is the smiling personality, which is what you are known for. I was wondering, what role does humor in fighting play for you? Because like you're known for being one of the most wholesome, the most nicest guys. Hell, I would say that they could make a nice mofo belt for you, like they did for Stephen Thompson, because of that right there, because of that lovely smile. But tell me about the smile, man, because like I don't know about you, but like I'm starting off boxing myself, and I haven't got that kind of confidence that you have to be able to smile, even though like that I know that I'm going to get punched in the head, but yet for every situation, through every fight that you've been in, I've always seen you smile. So tell me, what role does humor play for you, man?
Man, if you want to know why I smile, you got to Google my wife. That is the reason I smile. No, I love what I do. I do. I've been blessed. I know good and well if I win or lose, the good Lord's got my back. I've got a beautiful family, and I get paid to do something I would do for free. I have no reason to never to not smile. I I am living the life as best I can and bringing people to the Lord as best I can, and that smile has helped me do it.
Mhm. Can I ask you, in relation to the smiling, was this something that you were always with, like when you first started fighting, or did it somewhere come up in between in your fighting? Like, did it just start? Excuse me, sorry. Did it first start off when you were coming into mixed martial arts, or was it anywhere in your mixed martial arts career?
No, it was pretty quick off the bat. Even so, I was a band nerd before I ever started fighting. I was really good at the trumpet. I was a semi-professional, and I was just a smiley then. My dream was to be at the WWE. That is what I wanted more than anything else. And so when I started fighting, my thought was, okay, if I can make a big enough name for myself fighting, WWE would want me. So I just got to pick a name people remember. And we went. My dad and I were talking about what it could be, and my dad said at first, "How about Smiling Sam?" I said, all right, I love it, and we went with that. Um, and it was all. It was who I was. It kind of flowed. The alliteration was there, and just had hopes that it would catch on, and it did.
Well, so much so that I do believe that a fantastic MMA channel known as MMA On Point, they actually have you listed as one of the most beloved, top 10 most beloved fighters in MMA history. It's simply because of your personality and because of the smile, because of the $1 million smile. And I do believe that it belongs on that list for a reason alone, honestly. And it's great, and it's great to know. It's great to know in a sport like, despite the fact that you're getting punched for a living, you find a way to make humor out of it. It's great. I love it.
Oh, it's so much fun, and I've been just killing it on TikTok and Instagram. Just I finally found my voice on social media, and I'm having a blast with it. I get to share my sense of humor a little bit more. I get to interact with the fans a little bit more. I've been truly blessed with the gifts God has given me.
Yeah.
I have a good smile, and I get punched in the face better than most.
Mhm. When you were fighting, was your positivity ever mistaken? What was it for? What mistaken? Mistaken to be underestimated, to perhaps not be taken seriously.
Oh, 100%. So I've got over 80 fights. Like not many MMA fighters don't have that. The reason is one of the reasons is well, I grew up and I started fighting in an era where people just took fights, but as I kept winning, I still looked like a chubby, ginger, smiley guy. I was the least intimidating fighter that might have ever been, and everybody thought they could beat me. And so everybody signed up. I had years where I was fighting 10, 12, 13 times a year. And it was all because everybody thought they could wipe that grin off his face. Uh, and they just all failed. They all tried, and they all failed. So no, absolutely, people underestimated me because of how I look. And although I mean, I think they would all agree I was a very handsome fella. Intimidating, I am not.
So, but you loved every single second of being underestimated. It seems.
I just like that they said yes. That they said, yeah, I should fight that guy. I just love that.
Perfect. Now, I want to jump into the reflections. I want to jump into my reflection segment here that I have. So this revolves into stepping away from the UFC. Oh, oh shit. Oh no. Oh, what happened? Did we lose him? Shit. Oh dear. Shit. Damn. I thought I lost you. I thought I lost you, Sam.
No, sorry, that was somebody called me, so
Oh.
it kicks me off my phone.
Oh shit. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Great to have you back. Um, So, as I was saying before we got cut off there, so this my next segment goes into reflection. When did you know that it was the best time to step away from the UFC or walk out of the UFC?
When they stopped paying me.
They
That
stopped
was
paying you.
it. Uh, yeah, they didn't renew the, they didn't cut me, but they didn't resign me. And so
Oh.
when they didn't resign me, I was like, all right, this is, I'm not gonna fight over this one.
Mhm,
Uh, and so I took a step back, and then I searched high and low for a fight anywhere. I couldn't get anyone to fight me,
mhm,
and eventually I landed in karate combat. I took a small local fight for no money, and then I started fighting for karate combat.
mhm. The next question is, there have been the next part is there has been a handful of fighters that have made resurgences in the UFC, that have made resurgences in their late 30s and even going into their 40s. Like one of those is the current light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira, who's about to turn, I think, 39, 40 within the next year or so. Is there is there a potential that we might see Smiling Sam Alvey back in the UFC, or are you sticking with Karate
Yeah,
Combat?
no, hell yeah, I'll fight. I'll fight anywhere at any time. If I could get back into the UFC and prove everyone wrong, I would love to. However, I am very happy with karate combat. They've been taking care of me. It's an incredible promotion. They put on great fights, and I'm a big fan of everything they've been doing.
Mhm.
So I am very happy with Karate Comment. But if UFC wanted to offer me a big payday, I'm in.
Perfect. So the next question is, when you stepped away from the UFC, what was your main reflection?
Shoot, I had 24 fights in the organization. Nobody gets that. I have more fights in the UFC than John Jones does. Now he has a better record in the UFC than I do, but I have fought with some of the best in the world and won. I've won bonuses. I've won fight of the nights, knockouts of the nights. I've gotten submissions. I have done everything there is to in an MMA guy's career. I have accomplished more than just about anyone ever will, and I felt blessed to have the opportunity to have done it.
I want to go back down to memory lane. You fought in New Zealand against
Brandon Rapati.
yeah, Brandon Rabati. Yes, sorry, I don't think I spelled his name right. So sorry again. Um, Tell me about when you lost to Brandon. What was your first thought? Because I know that you said that you didn't want to lose again because you felt like you lost that bad, and it really you said it really did mess with your head. So what was your main takeaway from that fight?
So Brandon Rapati, I got robbed on. I went over there and he had 2 points deducted from him because his corner was circling the cage. I outstruck him all 3 rounds. I won that fight and I won it fairly dominantly. And they gave it to him. Uh, and I was furious. I couldn't believe it. We met with the promoter after the fight. Said, guys, listen, this is not right. This you know good and well. I won that fight. So yeah, well, you know what we'll do? We'll send the footage to independent referees and we'll get their opinion. And if they come back the same way as you and I see it, then we'll call it a no contest. Fine, do that. I got on a plane to come home, and when I landed, um, uh, they had already announced. I mean, it was already announced everywhere that I had lost. They lied, put me on a plane, sent me home, and so that's not. And it wasn't Rapati's fault. He has no idea. They're gonna say he won, but it was the organization's fault. Screw those guys.
Mhm.
And you know what? I don't remember years later, asking for asking for something out of him. He said, "Hey, he was trying to get licensed with the UFC. Say, hey, could you give me a letter of recommendation?" And I had never had more fun in my life telling somebody no.
That's fair. If we're going to be talking about decisions, I'd like to talk about the potential to fight Rebelli again for do you think maybe that there's a potential that if you were to fight him again, would you like to fight him for the inaugural light heavyweight championship for Karate Combat?
Wait, fight who?
Rebelli is Rebellis is that his name? I'm sorry, I'm terrible with name pronunciations.
Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. Rebels. Well, he could not make light heavyweight. I am currently the light heavyweight champion. I
Oh,
was just also the heavyweight champion. Robellis, he challenged me for my heavyweight title and he beat me. He was a big boy. And then the light heavyweight, I'm still the champion. And he couldn't make weight if you paid him $1 billion. He couldn't
so
make 205. But if
so
he's going to make 205, everyone's welcome.
so you're staying at 205, and that's where you're going to be defending your that's where you're going to be defending your title. I love it. I love it. Absolutely. That's a great decision. I love this, honestly, Sam. So thank you very much on that. I just have a few rapid fire questions for you. So
Okay.
what was your favorite arena to fight in the UFC?
Mexico City. I got to fight there twice, and it was hands down my favorite.
Who was the hardest punch that you took in the UFC? Can you remember?
Dan Henderson is harder than everybody else combined. And it was never in the fight, but he was my coach. We trained. He is harder than everyone.
Oh, good old Hendo Henderson. Oh God, I miss
Yeah.
him already. So, what was your? what was your favorite walkout when you were in the UFC? Or your favorite walkout song?
Well, Hey Soul Sister from Train. That was pretty much the only song I ever walked out to. I think I had one other somewhere in there, but it was Hey Soul Sister for just about 24 fights.
Yeah, I actually I went on to TikTok and also my Instagram story. I posted that very song. I it just reminded me of the times that you walked out there, and I just absolutely loved it. I thought it was a very interesting choice because there's been so many fighters that have walked out with unique songs, like Mike Perry with Halo, and I just, oh God, it was absolutely hilarious. So what would be your dream matchup from any era?
I always wanted to fight Michael Bisping.
Michael
Yeah,
Bisping.
I would like to fight Michael. Yeah, I always did. Again, my coach is Dan Henderson. My coach had a couple historic fights with him, and I would have liked to have tested myself. It would have been a clash of styles. Like he is so much faster than me, but I think it would have been a good fight for me.
What was your most emotional win,
Um,
or the fight,
I don't know if I have an emotional win.
or the
Yeah,
win that
I've
made
been
the win that made you feel the best, like that you were so proud of?
I I don't know if I have one like that. I'm very proud of. I mean, when I was fighting in the local scene back in Wisconsin against guys who were 0 and 0 or 1 and 0, I got the same rush out of beating them as I did beating Rashad Evans. Uh, just a win is a win. It doesn't matter who's in front of me.
So there was a quote in my head that's been stuck with me ever since UFC 269. It was for Poirier and Oliveira. Dustin Poirier, he was scheduled to fight Charles Oliveira, and Charles was set to make his first title defense at the time. Dustin Poirier said that one more climb for the ultimate view. You made that mountain view when you touched a gold at Karate Combat. How did that make you feel, man? How did that make you feel knowing that you touched gold?
I, even more than the gold, it was the rebound after the way I left the UFC. I left the UFC, of course. Everyone knows I've got that record. Well, actually, Tony Ferguson beat the record, but I had the record. And so when I got into karate combat and I put together a slew of wins and I beat good people, I kind of wiped away that taste that was left in my mouth from how I left the UFC.
If you were never, if you never went into fighting, what would you be? What would your career be?
I always wanted to be a stuntman. I was after high school. I mean, I graduated college and all that, but after high school, my plan was to move to LA and become a stuntman. I don't know how to do it or how I was going to do it, but that is what I wanted to do.
That's perfect. Well, Sam, I am unfortunate. I think, like, wow, we have been through this in no less than 40 minutes, my man, and we've managed to cover every single page that I have here. I mean, my God, like it's absolutely crazy. But man, listen, again, I want to thank you so much for your time, for everything that you've given me. I'm truly so grateful. It means a lot knowing that a UFC legend, a beloved UFC legend like yourself, just even has time out of your day to come talk to a small journalist like me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh, you are so welcome, my friend. I look forward to speaking with you. You said this was your 10th episode. I look forward to doing it again on your 200.
Thank
I
you.
hope you have a wonderful career. I hope this is I'm no longer the start, but I'm hope I'm closer to the beginning than the end for you. And I
So
look forward to seeing what it looks like in a couple years from now.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to, of course, thank anyone that will tune in for this episode. I want to give a massive thank you, and please give a massive thank you to Sam Alvey. Please give him a follow on his TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. But most of all, I want to give a massive shout out to, if you don't mind, Sam. I would like to give a massive shout out to one of my biggest supporters and one of my biggest friends, my greatest friends of all time, Casey Healy. If everyone can go over and please subscribe to Katie Elizabeth's music, she's a fantastic songwriter. Please go over and subscribe, and please subscribe to Sam's TikTok and YouTube channel. Again, thank you very much, Sam. I appreciate your time. I'm about to end the phone recording. Oh, And
Perfect.
yeah, that's brilliant.